GuruJi Sangat. Om Namah Shivaya. GuruJi Sangat. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivji Sangat. Om Namah Shivaya. GuruJi Sangat. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivji Sangat. Om Namah Shivaya. GuruJi Sangat. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivji Sangat. Om Namah Shivaya. GuruJi Sangat. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivji Sangat. Om Namah Shivaya. GuruJi Sangat. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivji Sangat. Om Namah Shivaya. GuruJi Sangat. Om Namah Shivaya.
Jai Guruji, Jai Sangatji. When the Divine Father blessed us with sons. It was in the last week of June 1998 that I had the good fortune of having Guruji's darshan. My maternal uncle had been telling us about Guruji and the miraculous cure of his heart problem. My uncle had been advised to go for an urgent bypass surgery by his cardiologist. Preparing himself mentally for surgery, he had gone to Guruji for his blessings. Guruji had ordered him to sit near him and press his feet. Guruji then inquired about his health. Uncle told him and then sought Guruji's permission to leave and his blessings for the imminent surgery. Guruji told him that he need not go for the surgery, saying, I have already done your bypass. It was hard to believe, even for the devout disciple like him. But he was happy that Guruji had blessed him. Next morning, Uncle went for his pre-admission tests. The test revealed that his heart was functioning perfectly. His cardiologist, however, attributed the good reports to the tests having been done just after the patient had slept well. He directed Uncle to get the test redone at a different laboratory. Again, the results were the same. The doctor was stunned. Uncle related the night's happenings at Guruji's to the doctor. The doctor was left speechless and could not but wonder at Guruji's divine intervention. Even though I knew of Guruji's praise, I could not receive his darshan because I was posted at Srinagar and came to Delhi only on short visits for official work. Fortunately, the next time I visited Delhi, Uncle conveyed the good news that Guruji was in Delhi and we could go to meet him. We went to the Empire State Stan of Guruji the same evening. It was quite late. By the time we reached there, the last round of langar was on and Guruji had gone to his room for a while. We were asked to sit for the langar and were with the Sangat when Guruji walked out of his room. The first darshan of Guruji walking gracefully, though unassumingly, into the hall, dressed in black kurta, is still fresh in my mind. He recognized my uncle, observed us, first timers there, and came to us. He asked Uncle to introduce us and then gave us chutti, leave, after telling us to come to the ranch, a farmhouse on the Gurgaon Maroli Road, for his birthday. First day and testing times. As luck would have it, the next day when I went to join my Delhi office, I was told to go back to Srinagar on temporary duty as the new in charge had faltered on service and a customer had complained to the regional office. I returned to Srinagar, unhappy at the prospects of not being able to get Guruji's darshan on his birthday, but confident of meeting with success in my official duty as I had received darshan and Guruji's blessings. I knew everything would go as Guruji wanted it to. I went through the official duties at Srinagar and Avantipur under tough conditions, remembering Guruji in every adverse moment. The customer was more demanding than ever before and used to push us around, attempting to substantiate his complaint. I could have failed at occasions like this in the past, but this time it was different. There was an anchor I was holding on to and remembering him during every rough hour. Finally, after a month, the customer called me to his office and in front of me made a call to our regional office, telling them of the excellent service being received. He told them to ignore the complaint. An appreciation letter was handed over to me. I knew whose doing this was. I returned to Delhi, looking forward to Guruji's darshan. My family had gone for Guruji's birthday celebrations and had been regularly going to Empire State. They told me of the many thousands of devotees who had come to Guruji's birthday and of the experiences the Sangat had shared with them. I thought, but would he bless us with a child? We had been childless for 7 years. Medical treatment, prayers, and upayas, remedies had failed. My uncle had suggested we seek Guruji's blessings. He had also related the experience of a contractor friend of his. You will get children, run away. The contractor had been childless for 16 years. When he got Guruji's blessings, Guruji had told him, Putar vidite, dhi viditi. Or isi saal, I give you sons and daughters too, that too this very year. This was unbelievable, but true to Guruji's word. The contractor's wife gave birth to triplets, 2 sons and a daughter, on 31st December of that year. Everything is possible with Guruji's blessings, but whether and when will he bless us? I wondered. We continued visiting Guruji's regularly, but he never talked to us. The Sangat told us to have faith in Guruji. He will talk to you at an appropriate time. Do not go to him on your own to mention your problem, they advised us. One day, when we were sitting amidst the Sangat after the langar, Guruji gestured to me to come to him. Was he indeed calling me? Yes, it was me. The Sangat assured me. I walked up to Guruji, thousands of thoughts in my mind, but with no courage to speak. Aithe kyun aaya hai? Why have you come here? He asked me. I mustered just enough courage to mutter, Guruji, I have no children. Guruji said detachedly, you will get children, run away from here. Without thinking, I muttered, Guruji, I have not come to run away. Guruji looked at me and said, okay, then keep coming every 8th day. This was something that surprised me. No end. I wondered how Guruji knew it was convenient for me to come only every 8th day. At that time, I was working in shifts with the 8th day rotation cycle. 2 morning shifts, 2 afternoon shifts, 2 night shifts, and then 2 off days. with only the evening of the first off day being convenient for attending the satsang. We started going for Guruji's darshan every 8th day. The members of Sangat who had been blessed by Guruji used to narrate their experiences. This gave us hope that our desires would be fulfilled, thanks to Guruji. But when we used to ask ourselves, also things were improving. My wife's job became permanent in November 1998. She took Guruji's blessings before her job interview and was the only one selected from among 42 candidates. Our finances were also getting better. My wife and I were continuing to get treatment for infertility without much success. The doctor had suggested a few attempts at intrauterine insemination (IUI), although she was not hopeful it would work for us. She had stated that this would be followed by attempts at in vitro fertilization (IVF), an expensive procedure. At the same time, I received a message from my company that I had been shortlisted for an entrance exam to an executive MBA program. The duration of the program, beginning June 2000, was to be 1 year. I was in two minds. My wife was vehemently and vocally against appearing for the exam. I asked her to leave the decision to Guruji. She stated, "What if he says yes? The treatment will stop for 1 year." Still, on our next visit, I gathered courage to go up to Guruji and ask him whether I should go for the exam. Guruji responded, saying, "Such chances come only once in a lifetime. You should go for it." I told my wife of Guruji's decision. She was unhappy. I appeared for the examination. Before the list of selected candidates was circulated, several rumor lists were doing the round. My name was not there in any of the rumor lists. I told my wife about it. She was relieved. Meanwhile, the doctor decided to make a last IOI attempt on 2 June 2000. She stated that she was not hopeful and would want us to go for IVF after this attempt. I informed my office that I would be coming late on that day. After the sample collection and initial checkup, I had to give a repeat sample. I called up my office and conveyed that I would get late further and may not come in at all. I was instructed to make it to the office, however late I may get. I gave a repeat sample and after arranging for my wife's return home, left for my office. There I was told of my selection for the executive MBA program. Acceptance for joining the course was to be given within 3 days. The next day, we went for Guruji's darshan. I broke the news of my selection to the MBA program to Guruji. My illusion, as if anybody can ever break news to the omniscient. He smiled and said, "Fir te kalyan ho gaya. You have been blessed then." I thought, I have told Guruji about my selection and he is saying that I have been blessed with happiness. This is but obvious. What Guruji meant was not apparent to us. We were to discover that in a few days. I joined the institute at Gurgaon for the program. After the first module, I went back home. We went for darshan that evening. While returning, my wife asked me to buy a pregnancy test kit, and the meaning of Guruji's statement became obvious to us. The next morning, when my wife tested positive for pregnancy, the last attempt at IUI under tough circumstances had turned out successful. Thanks to Guruji. Both of us were overwhelmed with joy and gratitude. We were in tears and were repeatedly kissing Guruji's photograph for a long while. We went to Guruji that evening. I touched his feet and was about to speak, once again trying to break the news to the omniscient, when he motioned me to keep quiet. I know, he said. My wife went through her pregnancy quite comfortably, in spite of my absence. She was able to get a house in her college campus during that phase, which helped her to do away with much of the traveling. She gave birth to a boy on 31st January 2001. After completion of the baby's first 40 days, we took the infant to Guruji for his blessings. That day, at the time of giving us leave, Guruji asked my wife, Poonam auntie, Hor Mundal lena hai, do you want another son? She said she was taken by surprise and did not answer. Guruji repeated this question to my wife on every visit we made. She never answered, but kept wondering during our drives back home how she could go through the medical procedure once again, and that too with such a small child to care of. She said Guruji must be joking. After completion of my MBA in June 2001, I got transfer order for Rajband, a place close to Durgapur in West Bengal. It was not possible for me to move at that time, considering the young child and other responsibilities at Delhi. I pleaded with my company seniors, but no one prepared to help. Disheartened by the apathy of my seniors, I was considering moving to the new posting without my family after making arrangements in Delhi for their stay. We went for Guruji's darshan on the evening. That day, the last of the seniors I had been requesting had said no to me. That day, too, Guruji asked the same question to my wife, Poonam auntie, Hor Munda lena hai. She promptly spoke. How will I get another son if my husband goes on a posting? Guruji smiled and said, this is really a technical problem. Let me cancel his transfer. We touched his feet and went back home. 2 days later, one of my senior officers called up and said, you have been talking of your inability to move. Why don't you write your request out and fax it to me? I will see what can be done about it. I knew who had put the thought in his mind. I continued in Delhi for another 2 years. After that, rejoining the office on Guruji's birthday, 7th July 2001. Guruji continued to put the same question to my wife. One evening in April 2002, she answered, as you please. The pregnancy test done the next day was positive. This time, it had happened without any medical procedure. During the course of this pregnancy, my wife once mentioned to me that she wanted a daughter this time and would ask Guruji for the same. On our next visit, as she was about to make the request to Guruji, while touching his feet, he spoke first. First time a son, and next time also a son. She had her answer. And of course, another son was born to us on 1st December 2002. Guruji questioned the second son issue. After the birth of our second child, Guruji once asked my wife whether she was planning to pursue a PhD. She replied that it was too difficult to manage her studies with 2 children. Guruji repeated the suggestion to her, adding, "Do you know PhD means? पागल होने का डर, fear of turning insane." Again, the reason behind his suggestion became obvious to us much later when I got transferred to Mumbai. The only way my wife could join me was by taking leave for doing a PhD. On getting my transfer orders, I went to seek Guruji's blessing and told him of my transfer. He told me to go ahead. I spent 1 year in Mumbai without my family. During this phase, we visited Guruji a few times. During one of these visits, Guruji told me, "You take your family along or else I will give you one more son." We took the hint and my wife applied for her PhD registration, which happened against all odds in a record short time, thanks to Guruji. As a result, my family could join me in Mumbai. It would not be out of place to mention here that one of my father's friends, an accomplished astrologer, had told me when we did not have any children that I would get my first child only at the age of 41. He had also predicted that I would have a son, that too only after 2 daughters. This astrologer has hardly ever been wrong. When I asked him after Guruji blessed us with children, the first one was when I was 37 and the second when I was 39, how his predictions had gone wrong. He replied that astrology can only tell how your destiny has been decided by God. But a Mahapurush like Guruji, who is God personified, he continued, has the power to rewrite destiny. So there is no doubt that the one who has the power to rewrite our destinies is Guruji himself. Jai Guruji, Jai Sangat Ji.